Alright, for quick reference, I'm just a 6K wannabe player. This is a screenshot from around a month ago, and this is what I've observed on one of the more broken heroes of this patch. For those that just want the quick answer, we see here on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, Mu is 12-3 on Offlane Outworld Devour. For those that just want quick and easy, here's a quick visual on his skill builds, his item builds. He takes 1 point Q, uses crossing lane, max W, max E, gets 200 health talent, move speed. 20 and 25, honestly, he's ended most games in like 20 minutes, so these don't even become relevant, but these are up for personal preference and depending on how the game is going. And that's that. So if that's all you're looking for, feel free to just click off from this video. But for those that want to get a little bit more detail into what his item builds always are, how he differentiates between them, how he builds, how he plays lane, how he plays team fights, then, well, feel free to continue watching. The buffs that actually make Outworld Devour relevant are here. In 7.28b, we saw he got 2 armor, more agi, which means more armor, and mainly this crazy move speed buff, which combined with, if you saw the items, triangles and wind lays, you're moving around at gigafast speeds throughout the mid game, and people can't catch you. His laning is incredibly powerful right now, and yeah, I picked a little bit of a longer game that Mu played recently. It was a 32-minute game compared to his like 20 minutes or whatever was people give up FF. He went 9, 3, and 15 again. He even named himself Offlane Destroyer. And I think this is incredibly legit. If you're picking in pubs, I highly recommend banning the Nyx before trying to do this. But yeah, we see in this game, lane stage is going versus a Juggernaut and Disruptor lane. So this lane, they have some kill threat. He's not super concerned about the usual nuke of some sort or slow or CC with Juggernaut spin because Disruptor doesn't provide any of that. And again, OD, 325 move speed without any items, which is ridiculous. So he's building towards nulls. Ideally, whenever you think you can have a positive lane, you should be trying to build towards null talisman. Ringa regen is also a very valuable item versus some harass heroes like Disruptor. If we go back to the build real quick. Other options, Magic Stick and Branches. This is an option if you're playing versus PAs, Undyings, Skywrath Mage. You can do some combination of Tango, 2 Branches, Stick, Ringa regen. Again, for these lanes where you think you just want more stats or you're not particularly afraid of dying, you can just go Mantle, Circlet, Branches, 2 Tangos, whatever. Funnily enough, you don't get boots too early. Most of the time you do want to be building towards this Null Talisman or Magic Wand, or both often, as stats will just help you win the game and win the lane. So, go back to the lane. We'll see during the laning phase, how do you actually play this hero? So this hero's been changed a fair amount. He always skills Q level 1. Q now uses current mana pool, both for mana cost and mana damage. So gone are the days where you potentially run out of mana because you didn't proc Essence Flux enough and you can no longer cast Arcane Orb. Arcane Orb is now always castable, which is giga value, meaning you never have to fly a regen. You never have to worry about getting super unlucky and running out of mana, because you'll always be able to cast this, even if it's like 2 bonus damage or whatever, even with any level of Essence Flux. So, again, to laning here, let's be forward. He takes Q, and then all he does is goes pop. It now has a cooldown, but pop. It's a pure damage orb, so you don't have to worry about pulling aggro. You can use it to secure range creeps. And the main primary goal he has here is just to harass the ever-living shit out of him, where he knows that they can't do anything, especially versus melee heroes, where they have to run at you and you have 325 move speed. Like here, Jug, they try, but high move speed and all the stats he bought, he's perfectly fine. He'll regen up in lane. He also has ludicrous amounts of base HP regen now. His main objective is just press Q as much as possible and be incredibly annoying for the first 3 levels. Now, if we skip forward to 306, here, this is when he hits level 3, and he actually has a point in Astral Imprisonment. You do need Essence Flux level 2 so you don't completely run out of mana, and as we saw, it takes a couple minutes until you hit level 3, especially in the dual lane. For those that are familiar with previous like mid ODs, you do the same thing here. Now because you have basically infinite mana, you just use W whenever you can. It's fairly long CD, especially the early levels, but you just use it to deny CS. Here, if we go last it denies, he's facing a Juggernaut, which is like pub carry destroyer, who's 11-2, he's 16-5. He has 50% more last hits and has some denies. And this is just gonna get worse and worse for the Juggernaut. See, you can harass here freely, doesn't have to worry about pulling lane aggro, and like, a Juggernaut can't lane. It's 3 minutes into the game and this guy can't do anything. This lane he does build boots first. I just want to note that this is pretty uncommon actually. A lot of times he'll just be hard rushing the Meteor Hammer, and especially getting the Ring of Health, because once you have Ring of Health, like, you can't get harassed at a lane. You're having like 13 HP regen, you have 325 move speed. It's incredibly difficult to do anything about this hero. Instead here, it's boots because obviously if Jug spins on you, you just need to run away. And considering you're all match damage, you can't do much about it. You also have a very nice lane matchup because if once Jug hits 6 and you're worried about Omni Slash on any other offlaner, well, OD just fucking Astrals himself and you're chilling. So again here, just want to go, press Q whenever possible. And W's 9 CS. So, this continues on for several minutes. I'm going to speed ahead to 634, which is when he hits level 6. This is your big power spike. You can cast your ulti on top of W and it'll still do damage. Considering level 6, level 7, it will be 280 or 360 damage plus a base of 200 damage. So that's a fair bit amount of nuke. And you should be able to get enemy carries down to this HP threshold just from the Arcane Orb spam. And again, this is pure damage, so they can't even itemize by getting more armor or anything like that. Obviously, you can get more HP, but not a lot of items that carries necessarily want nowadays, except, like, I guess, strength treads. Yeah, you should definitely be looking to try to get a kill from this. Gone are the days where this, like, drain mana or whatever else. Now it's just mana differential, and that's the bonus damage on top of the base damage. I wouldn't expect to do a ton. With your W now stealing mana, obviously for certain characters you'll get a big difference, blah blah blah, but expect this to do 500-ish damage, and that should be the level that you try to get them to. Unfortunately, Jug already knows that he's completely screwed. We see, God, he's 11 CS ahead, he has 17 denies. This is absolutely disgusting. I think if we zoom forward a bit, might be able to see him actually use it. Or threaten it. Now I got the back. I'm gonna skip ahead to when he gets Meteor Hammer. I want people also to think of this hero as he's basically a Viper. You dominate your lane with your orb attack. Viper, however, he has a very good wave clear with his W. OD does not, so you're building Meteor Hammer to make up for his weakness, while OD has really good catch, while Viper doesn't, so Viper builds Atos, and it has, like, makes up their own difference, but they feel like very similar heroes, where you want to be threatening, if anyone comes into your lane, that the threat of the ult should be enough to keep them out. With constant Q harass, or just, like, ulting people to be like, this is my lane, you are not allowed to be here. So around 8 minutes. I guess I can just speed forward to that point. So here, I just want to show that once you have 4 levels in your W, you want to just be using it on the range creep. Again, as you're not a Viper, you don't have this crazy lane push that instantly kills creep waves, but considering the range creep does significantly more damage than the range creeps in lane, you can just take it out with W, instantly kill it, you secure the EXP and gold, you don't have to worry about it at all, and it'll start pushing the lane. Because both when the creep's not attacking, well, it's essentially dead at that point when it's into the Astral. But it's just something you want to be consistently doing, and especially as this hero, you don't have wave clear, you do not want to be sitting in the jungle and hitting jungle creeps, ever. The only exceptions if you're like playing mid and you want to be hitting like the smaller medium camp nearby because you're defending a tower or something. But otherwise you always want to be in lane and forcing towers, just forcing waves in, creating that map pressure. Again, he's just annoying as all hell. I'm going to skip forward to after he has his Meteor Hammer. Thing of note here is that he builds Tranquils every game. He tried a couple games where he went Treads, didn't love it, whatever. But whenever he flies out his Tranquils, he always buys the second one lace. You should always look to do that as well. So you have Meteor Hammer. He got it sub 10 minutes, which is the goal. And he's playing a little safe here because no one's showing on the map. But you just channel, clear the wave, hit tower. Again, he hides because no one is showing. He doesn't want to just hit it. You can do fun stuff like hitting the... It's not quite here. He's done it a couple times where you can just sit in fog in the trees and still hit the tower. But here, again, now that you have Meteor Hammer, you want to spam this shit off CD. You have Q, so you can always regen your mana, so you don't have to worry about the mana cost at all. And you just want to use it to clear waves and create this map pressure again. As I just mentioned, he doesn't really want to show lane. So he was going to go channel in the trees, but he sees someone. And here we can see a lot of the value that comes from Offlane OD and what he should be doing. In the past, he's been this like crazy pure damage right clicker, but I don't want you to get baited into thinking that's what you do. You're a combination of like Doom, Shadow Demon, it feels almost like LC, where a lot of the utility you bring is that just being able to take people out. So here, he's ganked, right? He should be dying, in theory. Like, this is a level 8 Monkey King. OD does have a lot of farm. But it's a 2v1, sure his Spearbeard comes in. Shaker comes here too. But he doesn't care, he just walks away. He has 415 move speed with Windlace Tranquils. It was absolutely ridiculous. SB also tanks the gank a bit. But, want to keep a track of that. You can always... Dota's a simple fucking game. You bring more characters in the enemy team, you will win the team fight. So, OD, you're able to make like any 5v5 engagement, so 4v5. 3v5 once you have Ags. You just have like an incredible amount of utility with this W skill. I can just like cast forever. Here, see, again, you don't have to worry about mana cost or anything. A lot of games you'll just start having his Q on auto cast already at this point. Yep. You are a Viper. You take control of the lane, you want to shove the wave in, you want to get towers. So he's just going to be shoving this wave, goes down. He's going to rotate mid, and he does this like literally every game. Literally every game. I'm going to jump forward a little bit to show a little bit more examples of the utility that OD brings. 14, 12. Okay. So here, they just took an engagement. They're chasing after this low HP Legion. They're finishing him off, whatever. And here I want to show that like there's two major use cases for Astral improvement. So here, this team, bajillion units away, right? But this lasts for 4 seconds, so this gives us plenty of time for other people to come set up. He knows there's 2 heroes here with Monkey, so it doesn't really bother with the channel. But this gives so much time for people to catch up and just like really punish people that are out of position. And again, this isn't like him stomping on like low players. This is rank 281, 359. Like these are like top level players that he's dumping on. So you see he lets his team catch up. So one is offensive capabilities, right? Being able to Astral an enemy and letting some setup with the rest of your team. The other is this. Obviously the Shadow Demon-esque part where you just save your teammates. And this is crazy. I don't think it goes through BKB, unfortunately. I could be wrong on that. But you can think of it like an LC purge, an SD save, whatever. Like you don't have to worry about the type of disable they're doing, like in Bang Grip, Hex, stuns, obviously. But he's able to just save anyone and everyone. And again, this is very important. This is your job. You don't need to do like crazy in their face auto attack them for like 500 pure damage, which admittedly very fun. But that is not your job as Offlane OD. You don't have the money, you don't have the gold, you don't have all the items to enable that type of playstyle. I think it is viable once you get to late, but this is an early game centric hero right now. Like you want to build Ags or Force or Hood or whatever and just end the fucking game. Again, looking at this item build, ideally you want to build Ags every game. Ags is absolutely incredible because again, the amount of utility you get from having these Ws is absolutely insane. I'll be showing one more teamfight and usage of his W and then the classic Astral into Meteor Hammer, which again, you'd think that him buying this item, he doesn't do this combo in anyone until like 16 minutes into the game. He's too busy just pushing towers, putting pressure on lanes and whatnot. But I'll be showing one usage of that and then one team fight when he has Ags. So I'm going to skip ahead to 16 minutes. Again, sorry for the audio, this is a replay system. So you banish, you drop Q, you think this is a 1.75 channel time, and this is 4 seconds, but you actually start it slightly before half. Here, I'll go back 10 seconds just so people can see approximately when Mu starts channeling. And that's because there's actually cast point. So yeah, it was like slightly before the halfway mark. And even though the monkey was able to dodge the hit, he still the damage still gets done. Again, here we see just the vast amounts of utility. He literally just used this spell, and both he's set up for this fight, and the save can obviously be used on yourself in this situation, where the rest of the team thinks it. Wow, great image, beautiful. Love this guy. So he gonna go forward to 1350 or 2350. This is the last thing I'll be showing. 2, 3, 5, close enough. So he's built Aghanim Scepter. Again, they're pretty far ahead at this point, and this whole time, you notice like where he's been. It's been top lane, mid lane, like always near these lanes and always pushing. And if team fight's gonna break out in a second, and I'll just be showing like, oh, his spell usage. I just and I'm again just emphasizing like how much you're not this right-clicking hero. Because yeah, it's a nice nuke and whatever, but his attack range is such fucking shit that you just put yourself out of position constantly. I was playing this before, like watching a lot of move replays quite closely, and I was definitely just griefing myself because I'd be like up in their face, trying to get auto attacks in and being like, yeah, I can man fight whoever in the game, and then just fucking feeding. So instead, utility number 1, save. Utility number 2, the LC blinks in, want you to duel. You just take him out of the fight. Again, notice his position. He's on the edge of the fight. The rest of the fight's happening over here. I'm gonna go into free cam. So he's just on the side. Everyone else is over here. He wants people in front of him, because this way, like, there is some risk to channeling Meteor Hammer. So you got to make sure that you're at the edge of the fight and able to do it safely. And you don't also don't have to feel pressure to do it every single time. Again, if there's other characters nearby, if he fears a monkey stun's coming or something, he will not channel this. Obviously, the higher level skilled player you are, the more easy it will be to distinguish those movements from each other. The rest of this team fights is not a team fight. It's 2v2, you should think it's fine, but he also has ridiculous cast range on this. So you'll also often build Aether Lens as well. And again, the rest of the team catches up. It's fucking dead. Yeah, so that's about it. Obviously, there's more intricacies and more you can learn by just watching Mu play himself. But again, here is the skill build, the usual item build. I just want to touch briefly on items again. So Ags is the preferred item if you can get it. Against certain heroes like Ricky, Clockwork, Natures, whatever, you will have to build Force Staff. Again, the biggest thing you want is just to be able to stay alive. And a lot of these items will enable that because you can do like Self-Astral into Blink, pretend you're a puck. But ideally, if you're having a good game, if you're playing aggro, you want to build Ags into Aether or Blink. Again, just to like further set up and give you this extra amount of utility. Just to have a bigger range of where you can save people or set up kills and whatnot. He's also very much enjoying Shiva's Guard, gives a good amount of int, slows people. Y'all know what Shiva's does. Sometimes it's BKB or Hood or whatever. You still are an offlaner, so I think he definitely goes away from BKB. And BKB also kind of baits you into thinking like, oh, I have BKB, I can run in and just like auto attack people. Which, again, viable in the late game, but you need items like Hurricane Pike because your range is so bad. You probably want Hex. And like, if you're getting these 3 items, like, the game should have been over already. But there's definitely space for that to happen. Yeah, I think that's it. Again, here's the build. People need it. I'll just paste the match ID. This is the match ID if people actually want to watch this game particularly, but I recommend just going to Dota 2 Pro Tracker and watching other games if you want more examples. And yeah, that's that. Good luck spamming the shitting your pubs. Again, your animation shit's also fucking garbage, so go practice in a lobby before you go grief your ranked games like I did. Yeah, cool. Peace. Have a good one.